Selamat malam semuanya. Selamat datang di streamnya Meru. Seriusan, welcome back to Bamboo Shoot. Ini yang logo yang berapa lama ya? Oh, 2 bulan. Selamat datang kembali. Selamat malam, selamat datang di stream Meru, di mana hari ini Meru akan ngobrol tentang SCP Foundation. Dia akan bacain beberapa creature yang sudah direkomendasikan dengan Pandarlings di Discord. Jujur Meru belum lihat siapapun, maksudnya yang tertulis ya, yang mereka pilih. Meru cuma baru lihat yang 3199 karena Meru pengen tahu yang klasik kayak gimana sih. Ternyata oh, I see. Gitu. Seperti biasa kalau story time kayak gini, kalau misalnya playlist kalau misalnya lagi story time kayak gini, di akhir Meru akan mengurangi membaca chat selama Meru bercerita, tapi Meru akan membahas semuanya di akhir Meru membaca dokumennya. Technically karena ini kita ngomongin SCP Foundation, berarti ngomongin dokumen kan? Tapi sebelumnya Meru mau cek dulu apakah suara Meru kedengeran, apakah volumenya nyaman-nyaman aja. Dan ya ini kebetulan karena minggu ini Meru isinya Vlog mulu, jadi Meru pikir Meru bisa pakai yang 3D-nya walaupun geraknya ya cuma segini-segini aja gitu. Ya, aku volumenya pas. Oke, nyaman-nyaman. Oke, sip. Aduh. Kedengeran nyaman. Oke, sip. BGM-nya juga nggak terlalu keras kan ya? Ya, ini Meru pakai BGM yang biasanya, soalnya biar enak aja juga. Tapi personally Meru dengerin playlist lain biar Meru bisa dapat moodnya juga. Ini bisa di loop nggak sih? Bisa. Oke, pas ya. Oke, sip. Kalau gitu, ayo kita mulai dengan membaca dokumen dari SCP 3199 3199. Special Containment Procedures. All life instances of SCP-3199 are to be contained on Site-114 within a modified Keter humanoid containment chamber, hereby referred to as primary containment, the walls of which should be coated in approximately 2 cm thick acid-resistant steel. CCTV equipment is installed in the northeastern and southwestern corners. 2 meters of empty space are to be allocated between primary and secondary containment. Secondary containment consists of suspending all life instances of SCP-3199 within a block of solid transparent substance, currently clear acrylic resin. This block is to be at a height of at least 3 meters. 1 armed security guard is to be stationed outside primary containment at all times. An 8-digit passcode can be obtained from the current Site-114 director in order to bypass primary containment. Secondary containment is to be regularly examined for damages. Movement and activity of any kind are to be noted, and the current Site 114 director is to be informed at the earliest possible convenience. A temporary recall procedures is detailed in Addendum 319903. Experiments involving the use of live SCP-3199 instances are strictly prohibited without approval from at least 2 personnel of Level 4 security clearance or above. As of 12 June 2017, there are 4 live instances of SCP-3199 successfully contained. As of that will be December 6, 2017. As of 18 February 2019, there are 6 live instances of SCP-3199 successfully contained. Description: SCP-3199 denotes a species of sapient Category 5 biological entities of currently indeterminable origin, though tissue samples indicate the presence of silky chicken, chimpanzee, toad, mussel, adder, and human DNA. They are typically hairless, stained with a thin layer of albumin-like secretion, and stand at an average of 2.9 meters. Its weight averages 780 kg for a mature instance and 360 kg for a hatchling. Autopsy has determined that the cervical vertebrae of a mature SCP-3199 instance are composed of cartilage rather than bone. This enables the neck and throat to twist and dislocate to around 340 degree in either direction, aiding their unusual reproductive cycle. SCP-3199 are opportunistic hunters, engaging with live subjects within a radius of 0.6 kilometers surrounding hatchlings that have not yet reached full adolescence. Average speed is recorded at 25 km per hour. Upon contact with human or animal subject, SCP-3199 will proceed to redact it, liquefying internal organs and bone structure. A suitable cadaver is then transferred within range of the closest hatchling. SCP-3199 produces large eggs of an off-white coloration and rubbery appearance. An egg will pass through the entity's digestive tract, esophagus, and eventually out via the mouth, followed by a viscous red substance, first thought to be a form of placenta. Chemical breakdown has determined it to be a highly corrosive material. SCP-3199 shows extreme distress throughout the process, with personnel describing the sound as not dissimilar to a scream. SCP-3199 produces its eggs to fill unoccupied space. There is no known limit to the number of eggs SCP-3199 is capable of producing, and the standing theory is as follows. Given enough time, a single instance could single-handedly perform an LK class species transmutation scenario. Determination of a live instance can be achieved through a variety of equally effective methods. SCP-3199 has proven to be around as resilient as a standard human being. However, complete eradication has proven difficult, as all instances of SCP-3199, regardless of age, carry one egg within a specialized stomach-like organ upon birth, assuring that one living instance will persist through even ordinary means of constant and lethal assault. This biological phenomena is presumed to be in itself anomalous in origin. A single SCP-3199 egg can bear a tremendous amount of resilience, maintaining its form and purpose even following continual subjection to 1. Extreme blunt force trauma, 2. Pressure exceeding 180,000 psi, 3. High precision plates, serrated and non-serrated, 4. Long-term acid exposure. The application of plastic explosive was considered but quickly rejected by higher administration. Heat is a primary component in the growth and development of SCP-3199-X. See Addendum 3199-04 and Foundation Research. I'm going to butcher this name. Voivitel was particularly apprehensive towards the idea, believing it would almost certainly result in a second containment breach. SCP-3199 was issued Keter classification on October 6, 2017, following a containment breach. SCP-3199's superior containment method, a sedated water bath, was disassembled and replaced with a revised containment procedure as listed above. Addendum 3199-A01 on 2017-05 dispatch the following notice. All further experiments involving SCP-3199-X are strictly prohibited. Hatching periods have proven too unreliable to warrant extensive research, and as the consequences of a containment breach become more and more apparent, the O5 Council has unanimously decided to nip the situation at the bud. Until new and reliable information comes to light, all personnel found acting against protocol will be subject to standard zero-tolerance risk assessment training and a punishment determined on a case-by-case basis. We thank you for your continued cooperation. SCP-3199 was discovered in Ireland, following witness reports of a bald creature crying like a banshee from within an undisclosed area of woodland. These reports result in the dispatchment of Mobile Task Force Omega-19, who arrived on site with a total of 12 armed personnel. 2 personnel were lost in action, their internal organs and jaws having been almost entirely dissolved. During transportation, SCP-3199 produced 2 offspring, resulting in the death of further 6 personnel. Addendum 3199-A02 on 2017, a thorough sweep of SCP-3199's initial recovery location was enacted in an attempt to uncover the creature's origin and purpose. Local reports suggested that the small remote residence in question had been abandoned for at least 2 decades. Surface Team Delta 029E recovered several items of interest, including 1 bag of assorted thread and needles in various colors and sizes, approximately 13 chicken carcasses based on the collective halves and quarters with precise incision located on the underbelly, neck, and thighs. 6 of the carcasses have been plucked, with visible human teeth marks lining the bare areas at random interval. Several containers, including water bottles and Tupperware boxes, holding an unidentified watery paste. The paste was a deep brown in color, and in the presence of oxygen, it turned viscous and hard. An A5 notebook, blank brand, and heavily scratched with what was determined to be a human fingernails. The word New Breed Manifesto are written on the front cover. 2 chicken feather quills. The notebook itself consists of 24 of standard lined paper, written in non-anomalous black ink. 19 of these pages consist of various cuboid patterns and crude child-like illustrations, vaguely resembling SCP-3199. On the remaining 5 pages, large lines of writing detail the diary of an unnamed individual. Much of the written script was illegible. One extract in particular, dated 1973 was written in notably higher clarity. If you're reading this, then lucky you. 400,000 hour from not, and it will be warm and wet and warm, and the wonderful versatility of inferior human DNA will birth a better era, a stronger year, one where illegible and food and water will be nothing but things of the past as we make and make and make more until blank. I really haven't much time. That's why I envy you so much. You'll have all the time you need. Time will be on, and that will be life. New life needs things to live. New life will be a part of life from now on. The final page consists of various ink blots, 13 instances of the word life in inconsistent sizes, 2 instances of the word want it, I want it, and the lyrics to English songwriter Frederick Weatherly's Danny Boy in Old Gaelic script. The identity of the journal's author is pending investigation. Addendum 319903, Protocol 3422B. The following procedures is to occur in the event of a Site 114 containment breach in an effort to safely and immediately recontain live SCP-3199 instances. On-site personnel with level 1 security clearance of or above assume standard lockdown procedure and evacuate to Site 113 to await further instruction. Site 114 is to be flooded in its entirety by clean distilled water treated with dissolvable Class A sedative. Surface Team 8, Team Tango 306A will be dispatched immediately to retrieve any lingering instances of SCP-3199-8. Any living instances of SCP-3199 will be terminated on site, and their remaining eggs will be collected. All egg samples are to be transported to temporary off-site containment within a stable weather bath. Site 114 will be subsequently drained, and custodian staff will be dispatched to thoroughly clean and sanitize the ground to a green zone, Foundation standard. Personnel attempting to breach Site 114 before this inspection is complete will be apprehended and punished accordingly. Note: a number of personnel have expressed their skepticism regarding the scale of SCP-3199's containment breach protocol. To clarify, we have reason to believe that the fluid is an excellent counter to SCP-3199's anomalous reproductive properties. It appears to enter an inert state in the presence of liquid, regardless of thickness or clarity. The leading theory is as follows: SCP-3199 discerns liquid around it to be occupied space. Regardless, I believe I speak for all of Site 114 when I say we're quite relieved to have found a safe and consistent method of containment. Addendum 319904 Experiment Logs. Experiment 3199E01 Heat Exposure 2017. Subject 1 example from SCP-3199. Method: subject relocated to a secure containment cell. Inside, temperature of the cell was gradually increased at an average rate of 7 degrees Celsius per minute. Result: after approximately 9 minutes, the egg ruptured violently and produced a single hatchling. On-site personnel reacted swiftly to recontain the newborn instance. However, the excessive internal temperature appears to have impacted the physical maturity of the hatchling, and it reached adolescence at accelerated rate of 40 seconds. The now adolescent hatchling produced 2 further instances of SCP-3199. Security response on site was swift, and all instances were detained cleanly. All subsequent hit experiments involving SCP-3199's egg has been postponed until further notice. Experiment 3199 A02 Cold exposure 2017. Subject 1 egg sample from SCP-3199. Method: subject submerged entirely in liquid nitrogen. Security remain on standby throughout the procedure in light of prior experiments. After approximately 45 minutes of exposure, SCP-3199 had reached minus 190 degrees Celsius. Following 2 hours of exposure, the egg was removed and placed under a hydraulic press. Result: the hydraulic press peaked at pressure of around 9,000 psi. Cracked appear approximately 30 minutes into exposure before the sample shattered. Egg fragments were collected and furthermore pressed into fine pulp. 0 traces of albumin or yolk were located. Complete incineration of the cell remains proven successful in destroying the egg and its reproductive capabilities entirely. Experiment 3199E03 Chemical Analysis of Shell 2017. Sample 10 grams of finely pressed eggshell pulp taken from an SCP-3199 egg. Result: detailed chemical breakdown shows traces of nacre, enamel, and currently unidentified carbon compound. Microscope analysis suggests that the shell itself is composed to a tightly packed crystalline structure. Practical application of this material is pending administrative approval. Jadi tadi itu SCP-3199 3199 should probably Jadi kalau misalnya tadi ada yang mention penampilannya SCP-3199 itu agak serem, aku setuju sekali, Meru setuju sekali, karena memang penampilannya agak serem. Mohon maaf Meru nggak buka request karena SCP yang akan Meru bacakan malam ini semuanya sudah Meru dapat dari member. Jadi Meru tidak buka request. Tapi terima kasih sudah nge-suggest SCP yang lain. Yang bisa kita perhatikan dari SCP 3199 adalah penampilannya yang seperti dia itu tidak punya bulu atau apapun. Sepertinya kulitnya tuh transparan, dan apa yang membuat SCP 3199 itu menakutkan adalah menurut Meru itu kecepatan dia dalam memiliki hatchling SCP-3199 yang lebih kecil. SCP-nya bukan furry tuh nggak ada bulunya. Iya, SCP-nya ini dia dibilang hairless, walaupun dia dibilangnya tisu dari kulitnya itu begitu dicek komposisinya itu ada komposisi dari ayam dan simpanzi, tapi kayaknya itu kalah. Dan apparently kalau misalnya dia di bawah panas telurnya akan menetas lebih cepat dan SCP-nya akan bertumbuh jauh lebih cepat juga. Meru cuman kebayang kalau misalnya SCP-3199 itu muncul di Indonesia, kayaknya kita nggak ada yang bisa survive deh. karena SCP-nya bakal produksi lebih cepat daripada yang bisa kita bayangkan. Untung nggak nyata ya. Or unless, well, ditemukannya pun juga di Ireland sih. Ireland lumayan dingin harusnya. SCP-3199 ini untuk di Bekasi panasnya nggak nahan. Di Jakarta juga. SCP-3199 juga sebenarnya masuk yang gampang untuk ditundukkan karena SCP-3199 itu bisa kayak jadi satu area, satu containment-nya itu cater. Itu dia bisa di float, bisa dibanjirin sama air dan mereka akan dengan mudah dibikin tidur. Jadi bisa di-contain dengan mudah. Dan menurut datanya, kalau misalnya mereka harus menghancurkan telurnya, bisa didinginkan ke temperatur minus 190, lalu dihancurkan, ditumbuk gitu, lalu dibakar. Dan akhirnya telurnya bisa dihilangkan dengan aman. Dan sepertinya ada catatan di tahun 1973 juga. Sepertinya bisa dibilang SCP-3199 mungkin adalah bentuk manusia yang lebih advance. Tapi rasanya juga kurang bisa dibilang manusia nggak sih? New Breed Manifesto. Manusia bertelur, yes. Manusianya bertelur. Dan cara keluar, kalian tahu kan kalau misalnya ayam itu bertelur kan biasanya kan lewat bawah kan ya. Apparently kalau misalnya mereka mulai untuk ingin mengeluarkan telurnya, mereka itu keluarnya lewat digestif, jadi lewat pencernaan, naik ke esofagus lalu dikeluarkan seperti kalian lagi you know what. Dan katanya proses untuk mengeluarkan telur itu katanya benar-benar sakit. SCP ini kelas Cater. Jadi Meru sudah jawab ya. Dan katanya penjaga yang pernah dengar ketika proses pengeluaran telur ini, penjaganya bilang suaranya seperti mirip sekali dengan suara orang berteriak. Which is well, nggak kaget sih, ada DNA manusia juga terlibat di situ. Lalu berikutnya adalah SCP agar-agar. Oh, very interesting. Oh, yang ini kelihatannya lebih intens daripada yang sebelumnya. 3812. Bentar. Tadi siang Meru menghabiskan hari ini tuh tidur, dan sepertinya Meru posisi tidurnya salah, jadi sekarang lutut Meru agak sakit. Kalau Meru gerak-gerak, mohon maaf karena Meru harus memperbaiki posisi. SCP-3812 Containment Class Cater. Special Containment Procedure SCP-3812 is currently only partially contained. See Containment Proposal Brief below for more information. Gather Class Containment Proposal Brief SCP-3812 is to be constantly monitored by Mobile Task Force Ganymede 66 Starlight Knights, who are to maintain a 5-kilometer quarantine area of exclusion around SCP-3812. The acting MTF GY66 team lead, in conjunction with Site 86 research staff, is allowed fiat authority in regards to any aspect of SCP-3812's containment. Special care must be taken in order to prevent unnecessary exposure to SCP-3812. Current containment effort focus on mitigating SCP-3812's influence on population centers, as well as research into the full breadth of SCP-3812 anomalous capabilities in order to establish a more comprehensive containment procedures. Information and security teams are to monitor all forms of digital media in order to prevent widespread awareness of SCP-3812. SCP-3812 has an active, aggressive, and anomalous influence on reality. SCP-3812 is capable of altering events throughout time to prevent its containment. Due to the nature of this alteration, it is highly unlikely that any individual affected by SCP-3812's anomalous influence will be aware that they are affected. It is highly likely that most affected individuals no longer exist as a result of SCP-3812's influence, though any attempt to deduce how often this has happened would be speculative. Description: SCP-3812 is a reality-altering entity. Due to SCP-3812's latent effect on reality, it is nearly impossible to describe SCP-3812 in any meaningful way. All that is known about SCP-3812 is that it was once Sam Howell, a non-anomalous African-American human being who was believed to have died in 1996. Sometime shortly after its death, SCP-3812 was observed rising out of its grave and disappearing. SCP-3812 was brought to the Foundation's attention after its presence resulted in demolition of an apartment building in Warsaw, Poland. Due to its anomalous capabilities, SCP-3812's appearance varies significantly, making it exceedingly difficult to track. SCP-3812 is currently located at 26°26.46 degree south. I don't know how to read coordinate. 137 degree 56.27 to the west over the South Pacific Ocean. SCP-3812 exhibits signs of an extremely advanced Eigenmann schizophrenia complex, specifically extreme paranoia, extreme dysphoria, extreme mania, depression, inability to properly perceive their surroundings, inability to discern the difference between the reality and imagine, inability to differentiate between living and dead beings, inability to control expressions of emotions, hearing voices that are not there, seeing things that are not there, feeling or otherwise experiencing stimuli that do not exist, etc. In the 20 years since SCP-3812 was initially discovered, these symptoms have grown steadily worse. Originally, SCP-3812 was responsive to questioning and sought help in managing its condition from Foundation researchers. Over time, SCP-3812 became more isolated and withdrawn, eventually becoming entirely unresponsive and acting in erratic and unpredictable ways. Currently, SCP-3812 is not able to accurately perceive the world around it and will occasionally alter reality in order to diminish the discrepancy between how it perceives something and the way that something is in actuality. Due to this, it is impossible to know how often reality has been modified, only how often SCP-3812 has not created a clean alteration and has left behind evidence of its influence on reality. SCP-3812 is impossible to contain within any form of containment cell. SCP-3812 will alter reality to remove the containment cell or move itself to another location, drastically impeding containment efforts. SCP-3812 seems to subconsciously resist attempts of containment as well. Even if it is caught unaware, SCP-3812 cannot be tranquilized or amnesticized, as SCP-3812 will alter reality to remove or eliminate any threats to itself or its freedom of movement. Because of this, current containment efforts focus on mitigating damage and expressions of SCP-3812 symptoms as opposed to outright containment. Over time, SCP-3812 has become significantly less humanoid in appearance and now only vaguely humanoid and occasionally manifests in a variety of shapes and appearance. Additionally, SCP-3812 produces a latent anomalous effect on local reality, specifically in the form of temporal and spatial distortions surrounding the entity. These distortions are occasionally accompanied by random, violent outbursts that may dramatically shift or damage local space and time. While SCP-3812 is usually docile and aimless, its random outbursts are invariably fatal to any living creature nearby and can be extremely disastrous on a massive scale if not properly contained. SCP-3812 manifested in its current form at its current location on July 19, 2015. Addendum 3812.1 Interview. So, ini ada ada interviewsnya. Meru, menurut Meru kalian harus baca, kayaknya baca sendiri. Kalian harus baca sendiri interviewnya antara Dr. Yamamara dan SCP-3812. Karena ini kalian bisa ngelihat sendiri kayak bagaimana SCP-3812 yang awalnya masih bisa ngomong dengan jelas lalu jadi pelan-pelan tidak seperti dia yang sebelumnya. Saya rehat dulu on soal, see you. Oke, terima kasih sudah mampir. SCP-3812. Kalau yang ini dia SCP yang bener-bener gak bisa di-contain karena dia bisa merubah realita dengan mudah. Sebelumnya dia itu adalah Sam Howell yang meninggal di tahun 1996. Tapi setelah kematiannya, dia bangkit dari kuburnya lalu menghilang. Sekarang penampilannya SCP-3812 sekarang lebih kayak agak-agak humanoid. Maksudnya kelihatan outline-nya, tapi dia tidak bisa dibilang manusia 100%. Dari Arcs, terima kasih donasinya. SCP paling kuat siapa? Menurut Meru sih yang lagi kita baca sekarang ini 3812. karena gimana ya, mau sekuat apapun kamu, mau selemah apapun kamu, kalau lawanmu itu bisa mengubah realita dengan begitu mudahnya, kita nggak akan ada yang bisa survive. Begitu SCP-3812 ingin kita mati, kita mati. Dan dibilang juga SCP-3812 itu juga punya skizofrenia. Dia tidak tahu lagi mana yang real, mana yang bukan. Apa yang dia harapkan akan terjadi. Apa yang ingin dia ubah akan berubah. Nggak ada yang aman. Nggak ada yang aman di dunia ini dari SCP-3812. Untungnya dia ada di Amerika. Jadi harusnya kita aman gak sih? Harusnya. Lagi-lagi SCP-3812 bisa pindah tempat begitu aja. Jadi kayaknya dari kita gak ada yang aman deh. SCP-3812 juga sekarang lebih invisible, lebih tidak terlihat daripada dulu. Jadi bahkan kita gak tahu apakah SCP-3812 ada di belakang kalian atau tidak. Like right now. Selamat malam yang baru datang. Meru lagi 3D hari ini. Meru bukan berniat menakuti kalian ya. Tapi SCP-3812 memang tidak bisa diprediksi, ya nggak sih? Dari ARX lagi, semangat streamingnya ya, terima kasih. Dan terima kasih juga atas donasinya. Tengok kanan kiri belakang aku. Ya, well. Baru pakai jaket bentar. Sini banyak nyamuk. SCP-3812 yang bikin Meru baca SCP today. Actually enggak. Meru tertarik sama SCP lore in general karena waktu itu ada video game yang memang dibuat. Ada video game yang tentang lore-nya SCP. Yang paling baru, bukan yang Meru lupa judulnya apa. Tapi waktu itu Meru lihat SCP itu kan ada macam-macam kan. Meru kayak tertarik sama lore-nya, kayak oh ternyata SCP itu ada yang bentuknya kayak gini, ada yang bentuknya kayak gitu, ada yang literally alters reality. Tapi SCP yang hari ini Meru baca bukan containment breach, yang paling baru. Sebentar. Dia kah? Sebentar. Siapa ya main ya? Markiplier kah? Bukan, ini yang IGP nih. SCP Secret Files. SCP Secret Files itu yang paling baru, bahkan baru keluar demonya, I believe. Itu apa namanya? Waktu Meru nonton game itu pertama kali, Meru kayak, oh astaga, ternyata SCP sampai kayak gini ya. Kayak ada yang, karena ya kan kalau containment breach kan fokusnya kan sama satu yang jujur Meru lupa yang SCP containment breach itu isinya apa. It's good. Tapi Meru nontonnya yang Secret Files yang sampai akhir, terus Meru kayak oh SCP juga macam-macam ya ternyata. Jadi Meru sempat baca-baca tentang kayak Ada yang pohon, ada yang batu, ada yang statue. Anything scares you so far? Apa ya? I think semua SCP itu menakutkan, apalagi yang level cater ya. Sempat lewat videonya IGP sama IGN di timeline YT. Itu IGP itu Meru lihatnya. Toaster juga ada. Interesting. Emang SCP ada macam-macam ya. 4217. Menurut Meru itu semua SCP itu menakutkan, honestly, karena ada gimana ya, bisa ada kemungkinan mereka itu ada, itu selalu ada. Kita bukan hidup di area dimana conspiracy theory tidak ada, tapi dalam waktu yang sama Meru tahu ini semua hanyalah science fiction buatan seseorang. Tetapi kita bahkan belum sampai dasar paling bawah dari laut kita, dimana the weird and the strange lives. Meru gak bakal kaget kalau ada sesuatu yang mirip makhluknya SCP itu hidup di bawah air, jauh dari jangkauan kita. Hell, mungkin ada SCP yang beranak pinak di bawah laut situ, dan kita nggak akan bisa tahu, dan kita nggak akan pernah tahu. Selamat malam, selamat datang. Oke. Sekarang Meru akan membacakan SCP 4217 4217. Ini juga containment kelasnya cater. Kapal bentuknya, very interesting. Tadi ada yang beneran gak ada yang kayak manusia, yang ini literally kapal. Oke. 4217 ya. Ini Meru bacain cerita-cerita SCP ini sambil dengerin lagu-lagu yang serem, biar Meru kebawa sama kebawa emosinya. Cuman Meru mungkin akan pindah lagu karena that was a bit creepy. Oh no, yang ini lebih serem lagi. Ya udahlah ya. Aduh. Oke. SCP-4217. Containment Class Cather. Special Containment Procedures. Foundation Naval Forces are to patrol SCP-4217's territory with 3 or more battleships under the guise of British Royal Navy. During a hostile state, naval forces are to engage SCP-4217 until it reverts to a passive state. Survivors from civilian vessels attacked by SCP-4217 are to be recovered and processed in accordance with maritime disinformation protocols. Description: SCP-4217 refers to both Bismarck, henceforth SCP-4217A, an anomalous German battleship sunk in 1941-05-27, and the large cephalopod organism that is fused to the inside of its hull, henceforth SCP-4217B. SCP-4217B possesses a pair of octopoid eyes which protrude from the base of SCP-4217A superstructures and 1,200 to 200 meter long muscular hydrostrads that extend from an opening in its stern. Aside from the presence of SCP-4217B, SCP-4217A shows no signs of damage sustained from battle or subsequent decades submerged underwater. SCP-4217-B operates SCP-4217 system. This includes its full armament of 8 main guns, 44 secondary guns, and 12 anti-aircraft guns. SCP-4217-B also can operate SCP-4217-A's propeller to reach speeds approximately 40 knots, but only while surfaced. While submerged, SCP-4217 achieves locomotion via ejections of water from SCP-4217-B's body cavity with an average speed of approximately 30 knots. SCP-4217 typically remains submerged at a depth of 500 to 1,100 meters, navigating its territory. However, SCP-4217 will periodically surface and enter a hostile state. During this period, SCP-4217 will seek and attack non-threatening targets, such as civilian cargo ships. If sufficiently damaged, it will revert to a passive state, otherwise it reverts after immediate 9 hours. Addendum 1 History. The SCP-4217 designation previously referred only to Bismarck itself, which was believed to have been neutralized in 1941. A previous version of this document can be found below. Long. On 1985-02-16, a team from MTF Gamma 6 Deep Feeders was dispatched to verify the status of SCP-4217. On 1985-02-19, the service crew reported that the dive team had remained submerged for several hours past what their oxygen supplies allowed. Shortly thereafter, they detected a distress signal from the submersible black box recorder and retrieved it. Transcript follows. This is, kalau misalnya Meru punya sound effect-nya, this is going to be very interesting. Malam Lily. The first sighting of SCP-4217 in its current form was made shortly thereafter. It was responsible for sinking 2 cargo carriers and 1 cruise liner prior to the establishment of current containment procedures. Cover stories were disseminated to explain the lost vessel. Foundation misinformation teams constructed a replica of Bismarck and sank it 100 km east of the location of SCP-4217's discovery. Arrangements were then made for a high-profile civilian oceanographer to discover it on 1989-06-08. Addendum: recovered documents. Following the collapse of the USSR and subsequent dissolution of GRU Division P, the Foundation acquired a number of documents that GRUP had recovered during the Soviet occupation of Germany. Among these documents were a number of internal Obscura Corps memos believed to be related to SCP-4217. In light of this discovery, the SCP conducted investigation of the individuals named in this correspondence. Records indicate the deaths of Otto Schmidt in 1940 and Hans Meyer in 1941, with no evidence found to contradict this information. Dietrich Losner was acquired by the United States military in Operation Paperclip and later died of natural causes in 1976. The Department of Defense has thus far refused to disclose information on his past war work. References to Karl Reuter can be found in other Obscura Corps documents up until 1944, after which no further information on him has yet been found. Addendum 3 Incident 421709 on 1993 07-22, SCP-4217 appeared to enter a hostile state, and Foundation Naval Forces prepared to enact special containment procedures in response. However, before any vessels were able to reach firing range, Kurt Wagner, captain of SCPS Nemeth, noticed that SCP-4217 was not moving from the location where it had surfaced. As this was different from previously observed behavior, Captain Wagner ordered SCPS Caesars and SCPS Partholon to hold position while he investigated. SCP-4217 was unresponsive to the presence of SCPS Nemeth, even when the latter drew within 200 meters. After a brief period of observation, Captain Wagner attempted to hail SCP-4217 over the radio. SCPS Nemeth, SCPS Caesar, and SCPS Partholon subdued SCP-4217 without further incident. SCP-4217 has not responded to subsequent attempts at communication. Sedang dalam tahap SCP saya cinta panda, bisa aja. Selamat malam, selamat datang buat kalian yang baru datang. Tapi ternyata SCP-4217 bisa komunikasi ya. Daripada living ship, Meru lebih bilang dia itu lebih kayak kerang. Jadi Bismarck itu adalah cangkangnya. Lalu ada SCP 4217 yang tinggal di dalamnya, dan dia yang jadi kayak sekarang yang jadi kayak the main brain of the ship. Geraknya dia, terus habis itu di komandannya dia. Jadi kayak itu Bismarck itu kapalnya kelihatannya sih lebih kayak kapal biasa, sebenarnya kapal yang bathwater, bukan yang kayak bisa tenggelam gitu, bukan kayak kapal selam. Tapi karena yang memegang adalah SCP-4217, sekarang dia bisa hidup di bawah air. Kalau misalnya di event, bahkan kalau misalnya kapalnya naik ke permukaan, actually itu adalah saat dimana SCP-4217 itu hostile, jadi siap menyerang kapal-kapal lain yang tidak membawa senjata. Dan satu-satunya cara untuk membuat SCP-4217 tenang itu dengan menyerangnya sampai dia kembali pasif. Sangat menarik. Dan setiap diserang, tidak akan ada kelihatan kerusakan di badannya SCP-4217. Jadi essentially it is a living ship, tapi daripada living ship itu yaitu lebih kayak hewan bercangkang ya berarti. Dan sepertinya pernah ada momen di mana Kapten Wagner itu berkomunikasi dengan SCP-4217 dan sepertinya ada hubungannya sama SCP-2399. Very interesting. Halo? Apakah sudah kembali Meru? I think I should be back. Sumpah internet Meru ini nggak ngerti kenapa. Oke. Jadi SCP-4217 itu connected to SCP-2399, which is interesting. Ternyata cerita mereka ada hubungannya. SCP-3812 altered your internet to be worse. Sepertinya memang SCP-3812 bukan fansnya Meru. Bukan pandarlings dia. Harusnya dia buat reality itu internet Meru itu selalu baik gitu. Kalau ya, I'm willing to believe kalau dia exist. Okay, and we're going to read the last one, I think. 1609. Euclid. Oh, dari tadi Cather, sekarang Euclid. Very interesting. Buat kalian yang tahu SCP in general, level containment tertinggi itu yang mana? Cather kah? Atau Cather yang paling itu urutannya itu kan safe, Euclid, terus Cather kah? Atau gimana? Kalian Meru belajar tentang SCP. This flower bed. Bunga. 1609 itu bunga. Ladang bunga. Apollyon sama Archon. Oh. Object classes, oke. Okay. Oh ya, ada. Ada save, Euclid, Cather, Thaumiel, neutralize, Apollyon, and then Archon. Oh, save itu aman, gampang banget buat di contain. Terus Euclid itu containmentnya nggak akan selalu reliable. Mungkin unpredictable. Terus Cather itu yang susah buat di contain atau caranya itu kompleks. Cather SCP bukan berarti SCP-nya berbahaya, cuma sangat-sangat susah atau sangat mahal untuk di-contain. Thaumiel itu use contain, jadi yang SCP yang dipakai buat buat nge-contain other SCP yang lain. Oh, mereka bisa dipakai buat konten yang lain. Neutralize itu yang sudah dihancurkan. Apollyon itu nggak bisa di-contain. Kalau breach containment itu mungkin sekali kalau misalnya anomalinya itu world ending threats. Oh, kalau Archon itu bisa, tapi sebaiknya tidak di-contain. May be part of consensus reality that is difficult to contain or may have adverse effects if put into containment. I see. Jadi lebih baik dia tidak dimasukkan ke containment. Selamat malam. Oke, kita sekarang baca SCP paling terakhir, satu-satunya kelas Euclid di list kita malam ini, SCP-1609. Setelan musik dulu biar serem. Buat Meru maksudnya. SCP-1609, Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedure. SCP-1609 is contained at storage site 08 due to the difficulty of transporting it from that location. SCP-1609 is to be contained in a specially designed enclosure at that site, within a flower bed in which a range of aesthetically pleasing flowers and plants are to be cultivated. It is to be used as much within this flower bed. The flower bed is to be tended regularly, and all visitors to the enclosure must remark on the beauty of the flower bed, with particular emphasis on the quality of the mulch. SCP-1609 is to be removed from the flower bed at irregular intervals so that it can be treated with wood, metal, and fabric preservatives. Personals are to announce their intention in the presence of SCP-1609 before attempting to remove it for this purpose. Personnel assigned to SCP-1609 are required to wear plain clothes in order to prevent accidentally triggering a violent response from SCP-1609. No items with motors are allowed within 200 meters radius of SCP-1609's containment area. No personnel either presently or previously affiliated with the Global Occult Coalition nor material referencing them are to be allowed within storage site 08. In the event of a violent reaction from SCP-1609, all personnel are to exit the immediate vicinity, and a message is to be played over the site's interior speakers informing site staff of the event. Should SCP-1609 be sighted outside of its containment area following a violent reaction, staff are to act in a submissive, non-threatening manner. Formal clothing such as jacket, lab coats, protective clothing, jumpsuits, and particularly body armor are to be removed if possible in the case of such an event, and any weapons capable of damaging SCP-1609 are to be immediately discarded. Staffs are to ask SCP-1609 to return to containment without attempting to threaten or command it. Should SCP-1609 exit storage site 08, agents are to be immediately dispatched in order to scan the surrounding area for SCP-1609 and, if possible, retrieve it. At present, there exists no way to totally prevent SCP-1609 from breaching containment. Current containment procedures center on encouraging SCP-1609 to remain within its containment area. Description: SCP-1609 is at the present time a pile of splinters, wood chippings, furniture nails, and scraps of bleached leather and fabrics, weighing in total approximately blank kilograms. The wooden portions of SCP-1609 are made of oak, and the nails are made of steel. SCP-1609 is capable of teleportation, being capable of moving its entire mass instantaneously between 2 points without any known limit. SCP-1609 usually uses this to bring its constituent parts together when parts of SCP-1609 have been removed from the mass, but SCP-1609 can teleport its entire mass at once, on at least one occasion at a distance of blank kilometers. SCP-1609 is capable of splitting its mass, though it does this rarely. An amount of material removed from SCP-1609's mass continues to display SCP-1609's property. SCP-1609 has resisted all attempts to remove it from the confines of storage Site-08, teleporting back to the site of its own accord. However, it has previously teleported out of storage Site-08 for brief periods before returning. Although this has only happened on redacted occasions since its arrival in Foundation custody. SCP-1609 appears to be in some way sentient, as research indicates it is able to perceive its environment in a manner that is currently poorly understood and is able to react to stimuli in an intelligent fashion. Details of SCP-1609's behavior are poorly understood, although it has been ascertained that it will react in self-preservation and will react aggressively to certain stimuli which it connects with a threat to its existence. Aside from this, SCP-1609 appears to prefer situations in which it is utilized by humans, and will actively seek out situations where it can be put to use if it left idle. This is the reason for the Foundation present use of SCP-1609 as mulch, as this prevents SCP-1609 from becoming idle and attempting to leave storage Site-08. It is theorized that SCP-1609 is capable of understanding human speech or thought, although this cannot be determined as it does not comply with tests determined to gauge its awareness of such stimuli. When exposed to a number of specific stimuli, SCP-1609 will react violently. During a typical violent reaction from SCP-1609, it will teleport a portion of its mass inside the lungs of nearby personnel, causing immediate and severe laceration to the interior of the lungs, as well as pulmonary obstruction, which rapidly leads to victim's death. Stimuli which can instigate a violent reaction from SCP-1609 include personnel wearing the uniform of or clothes similar to the uniform of personnel affiliated with Global Occult Coalition. A turn of words or phrases used heavily or exclusively by GOC operatives such as threat entity while in contact with SCP-1609. Any action demonstrating hostility toward SCP-1609 and the sound of a running motor. Violent response from SCP-1609 are rare. Only redacted such events have occurred since containment, and SCP-1609 quickly reverts to passive state after such a response if it does not continue to feel threatened. SCP-1609 arrived in Foundation custody at redacted date after teleporting into an unused containment cell at storage Site-08 in its current state. Careful investigation has revealed that SCP-1609 was originally a large chair made from varnished oak and bleached leather, carved in the form of a reclining woman in a restful state. SCP-1609 appears to have possessed its anomalous properties in this state, albeit with certain limitations, namely that the object would only teleport when a person within a certain radius currently unknown felt the need to sit down or rest without a comfortable seat or chair nearby. At this point, SCP-1609 would teleport to them and remain in place until another person experienced a similar urge. Oops, that's kind of cute. On a redacted date, both Foundation operatives and members of the Global Occult Coalition were made aware of the existence of SCP-1609, which was given a temporary designation of A622 due to hard-to-contain nature of SCP-1609 and the possibility of its existence causing a breach of secrecy regarding the existence of supernatural phenomena. A small-scale effort to contain SCP-1609 was launched by GOC forces. It is presently unknown how exactly GOC operatives captured SCP-1609, but it is known that they succeeded in reducing the object into its current form using a wood chipper. Further attempts to destroy SCP-1609 failed due to its property and ability to teleport away from sources of danger. Following this event, several members of the Global Occult Coalition died under unusual circumstances. Investigation through both official channels and embedded Foundation agents within the GOC has potentially linked SCP-1609 to at least 3 deaths of personnel within the coalition. Although the true number of casualties amassed due to their mishandling of the item is unknown. SCP-1609 then arrives in Foundation custody. It is unknown how SCP-1609 was aware of the existence of the Foundation, although it is theorized that it entered Foundation custody due to a low risk of further damage to itself. Document 1609-1 SCP-1609 represents a perfect example of the flaws inherent in the operating procedure of the GOC and serves as a cautionary tale for any member of the Foundation who disagree with our practice in containing dangerous objects. Prior to the Coalition getting their hands on this, it was perfectly harmless. A chair which teleports to you when you need a seat is normal compared to most of the stuff that we deal with on a regular basis. When they put it through a wood chipper, it got hurt, scared, and angry, so it lashed out at them. By trying to protect the world by destroying it, they inadvertently made the situation a whole lot worse. SCP-1609 went from being a harmless to deadly in the space of a few minutes because of GOC, and we had to clean up the mess. Thankfully, SCP-1609 is pretty simple for us to deal with. So long as we don't do anything stupid around it, it won't fight back, and it won't try to leave. Even if it does, it usually comes back. I think I've worked out why. It came to us because it was afraid of the people who had heard it. That's why it always comes back. It's afraid of the rest of the world now, and it's looking to us for protection. This is why we have special containment procedures instead of special destruction procedures. If you break anything, it's broken forever. When you try to destroy an anomaly, you can't take back your mistakes. That's what SCP-1609 has to tell us. This is why we're right and the GOC is wrong, people. By Dr. Sievert. SCP-nya punya PTSD. SCP-nya takut dong. Awalnya dia literally cuma kursi yang pengen kamu dudukin kok kamu gak bisa nemu kursi di areamu. Terus habis itu dia literally dia cuma pengen didudukin. Oh no. Tapi dari semua SCP, jujur aja kalau misalnya Meru harus bekerja sebagai sebagai SCP container, sebagai salah satu agen researchnya, Meru terbuka untuk jagain SCP-1609 karena Meru cuma harus deketin terus muji once in a while, habis itu muji pekerjaannya. Terus habis itu kalau misalnya dia kenapa-napa, dia jadi violent, ayo sini masuk lagi yuk. Literally dia tuh kursi yang bisa teleport, dan dia tuh cuman berusaha bantuin orang kalau misalnya dia nggak nemu kursi, kalau orang nggak nemu kursi. Jadi dia langsung kayak, oh orang ini butuh kursi, nggak ada kursi di sekitarnya, teleport jadi bisa istirahat. Lalu dia diam di tempat itu sampai dia merasakan ada yang butuh duduk lagi, terus dia pergi lagi. Ya, terus habis itu GOC ruins everything. It came to us because it was afraid of the people who had heard it. That's why it always comes back. It's afraid of the rest of the world now, and it's looking for us for protection. It just wants to feel safe. SCP-1609 itu sangat-sangat cute. Kalian tidak ada yang bisa mengubah pikiran Meru. 1609 is very very cute. It's adorable. Very very adorable. Oke. Apa daya dibully, literally di destroy. Dia tuh dimasukin kayak wood chipper itu. Pemotong kayu. Dia ditaruh di pemotong kayu. Oh no, baby. 999 itu yang ini kayaknya Meru tahu deh. Oh, safe. Subject is to be played with when bored and spoken in a calm, non-threatening tone, like a baby. Playful and dog-like, leaping upon them, hugging them. Baby, literal baby. Have never been found to purposely attempt to harm others. Bisa minta maaf juga. Oh no, that's adorable. Bisa buat terapi. Love animals. Risking its own life to save others. Oh my god. SCP-682. Oh no. Wants to play with SCP-682. Mau main sama SCP-682 lagi. 999 is so cute. What the heck? Adorable. SCP agar-agar kalau kata orang. Iya, si agar-agar. He just wants to be friends. Jujur, semua cerita SCP yang pengen jadi temen itu kayak so adorable. I love it. I love them. Meru mau ketemu sama SCP-999 dan dan meluk SCP-999 with my whole body. Just so that I can be happy for once. Bercanda, I think. Tapi SCP-1609 lucu juga. Ceritanya tragis banget, tapi oh my god, so adorable. You just want to be praised dan mau produktif. Oh baby, adorable. I love. Tapi dari 4 cerita yang kita baca tadi aja tuh udah kelihatan banget gitu loh, kayak SCP tuh macem-macem banget jenisnya. Ada yang a literal combination of monstrous beings, ada yang a reality bending person, terus habis itu ada yang a literal ship, dan ini kursi yang punya PTSD. Baby. Remains of a chair. Oh my god, that's sad. That's really really sad. Oh my god. Ah, baby. Honey. Anyway, stream hari ini kayaknya sampai situ dulu. Kayaknya Meru sudah baca semua donasi. Kayaknya. Ntar coba cek dulu deh. Set share live, oh my god. Benar sih, kasihan sekali. Mari kita GOC, boykot GOC. Meru dukung. Ya itu aja udah kok. Kalau besok jadwal Meru itu adalah sih. Karena Meru juga lupa. Fandom Talk. Besok Meru akan ngomongin tentang Ace Attorney. Karena Meru udah mulai main Ace Attorney, jadi Meru harus ngomong tentang Ace Attorney. Terus habis itu tanggal 24-nya Meru akan ngelakuin stream tanya Q&A. Akan Meru umumkan habis ini harus bisa naruh pertanyaannya di mana. Apa lagi ya? Oh ya, Meru tahu pasti udah banyak yang nunggu juga Meru buat main Genshin. Karena tanggal 24 kan rilisnya. Tapi Meru akan main Genshin tanggal 25. Jadi tunggu aja pengumuman Meru di tanggal 25. Nanti kita akan main di Twitch. Jadi Meru akan ya ngelakuin Archon Quest sambil eksplorasi Sumeru juga, I guess. Kayaknya itu aja sih. Kayaknya itu aja sih pengumuman hari ini. Kayaknya iya itu aja harusnya. Ya, dan nanti di tanggal 25 juga lewat Twitch Meru akan ngumumin sesuatu yang juga akan Meru umumin lewat Twitter setelahnya. Tapi Meru akan prioritasin yang ada di Twitch dulu. Tapi selain itu yes, itu dulu sih. Itu dulu. Oke, kalau gitu Meru akhiri dulu streamnya. Terima kasih yang sudah datang dan nemenin Meru belajar tentang The Wondrous World of SCP. Apakah wondrous ya? Isinya banyak yang either yang trauma atau yang evil. Oke, kalau gitu goodbye, good night, oyasumeru, bye bye, sampai ketemu besok. Mana itu Meru? Oh ya, bye bye. Oh ya, kalau misalnya kalian penasaran untuk minggu ini untuk di free talk apa bagian YouTube ya, Meru akan pakai 3D model terus. Jadi kalau kalian pengen lihat Meru pakai 3D, silahkan datang ke stream minggu ini ya. I guess that's it. Oke, bye bye. Ya, Meru. Sebentar, Meru lupa caranya mematikan stream. Oke, ketemu. Oke, bye bye.